So I think I figured out what marathon training I'm going to be using. I found this one a while ago, years ago actually, when I was running and thinking about training for a marathon, and then didn't end up training for a marathon, just kind of didn't. So it's Hal Higdon. It's his program online. And when you search for marathon training, that's like one of the first thing that pops up. I've done a lot of looking at like Pinterest, and I did have a training plan that I liked, but it's 20 weeks and I have 18 weeks. So essentially it's like the same sort of timing in terms of like, when to run your long runs. It's pretty much the same in terms of like Saturdays are going to be your long run, a couple of days of rest, 1 or 2 days of like a cross training. So it's kind of the same. The one that I was using, so back in May when I had first started, I was trying to get myself back into just running, and I was following 2 different programs. One was trying to get me into where I was able to run more than a minute. So it started at a minute, and then every day it progressively increased. I did that maybe for a few weeks, and I was progressively climbing from like running 1 minute, running 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and it would increase each day. I got myself up to 15 minutes, and then I stopped. I stopped progressing. I kind of gave myself a little bit of a break for like a week, where I was like, I don't think I'm going to run. I was having trouble with my hip, and I was like, I don't want to injure myself anymore. So I stopped at that 15-minute mark, and what I was doing was I was doing intervals. So I would do like a minute run, a minute walk, a minute run, a minute walk for an hour. The next day I would do 2 minutes of running, a minute of walking, 2 minutes of running, and so on. And then each day that the run increased, I would still keep my walk interval at just a minute. So I would be like 3 minutes running, 1 minute walking, and then climb. And when I got to the 15-minute mark, I ran the 15 minutes, stopped, walked a minute, and I'd have to look back and see if I did more. I feel like I didn't, but I'd have to look back because I do journal it. I keep screenshots of my treadmill progress and what I'm doing each day, and I've been journaling it and using Canva and kind of merging it all together and keeping it like a diary or like a workout journal kind of thing. So that was one thing I was using when I first started, when I ran the race, the 10K, ran, jogged, walked the 10K back in May. I couldn't get past like 2 minutes of running, so I signed up to do this 10K. I probably should have physically signed up to do the 5K, but my idea was, the reasoning for the 10K was in memory of my cousin Stephen, who had since passed from battling brain cancer for a few years. And I said, if I'm going to run it or attempt to run it, a 5K, I'd rather challenge myself and do a 10K, because 10K is hard, but going through cancer and is harder. So I did that, as a push for myself. In his memory, he went through something hard, much harder than a 10K. So I signed myself up for the 10K. When I did that run or walk or combination, I could only go to 2 minutes at a time, and I was struggling. It was the whole like half of the race was uphill. It was hard. So I would go, 2 minutes at a time, and it was very emotional. It was really hard. I struggled physically, emotionally. It was really, really hard. It was a very, very difficult weekend. but nonetheless, after that, I continued to train. I'll use that loosely, but I had this sort of training plan, and I was just going with it. And the other part to it was a marathon training plan, and I kind of had hoped that I would get into some sort of a marathon. Really, one goal is to get into Boston Marathon, so I was like, oh, if I want to get into Boston Marathon, it was a 20-week program. I think I had from that time like 40 weeks into the Boston Marathon, so I was like, oh, I can do it twice. And I'll do the whole training, and then I'll start again at one. And it was going pretty decent, so I was kind of working the two together. And you know, I think that training plan was like 1 mile. Like the first week was like 1 mile, maybe 2 miles, 1 mile, and then the long run on Saturday. And I can post a picture of what that training plan was. And it was actually, I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. It was kind of spread out nicely. And it was manageable for me, you know, just getting back into it. I think out of the whole time frame, I think if I was still working like towards that, I'd still be on week 4. I took some breaks in between. So I wasn't like consistently following it, but I was using it sort of like as guideline of like how to get myself back into this. And I figured if I can at least get myself to 3 miles and be able to run a 5K, you know, and be able to do more than a minute at a time of running, I was doing something better than not doing anything at all. So I was kind of sporadic and all over the place with my training plans and just trying to get back into it. But anyway, I kind of was thinking about still using that 20-week plan, but when I counted out the weeks from now until the marathon in November, I have 18 weeks starting tomorrow will be my first week. So it actually works out really well, an 18-week plan. Hal Higdon makes an 18-week plan. A lot of his plans are 18 weeks, aside from the Boston Marathon. There's a few other plans and trainings that are on his website. I haven't looked at all of them, but I did look at, like, he has Novice 1, Novice 2. I'm going to use the Novice 1, and it's 18 weeks. The Boston Marathon one is 12 weeks. I'll get there at some point when I'm ready to train for the Boston Marathon. When, not if. So right now, I printed out starting tomorrow, Hal Higdon, Novice 1, 18-week training plan. So Sundays are technically considered a cross-training day. So in today's case, I'm going to do the treadmill for half an hour, and I'm going to do my bike for half an hour. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to use for cross-training on Sundays. Mondays are a rest day, and then I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on this training plan are like 3 miles. So 3 miles each day, and I think Saturday is a 6-mile run. So that's going to be interesting and challenging. I just ran a 4-mile run the other day, which I was really super proud of. So we'll see what happens Saturday, but not rushing anything, just kind of going to go with the flow. And I've read a lot of his website. It's really informatic. It's got a lot of information and good tips and tricks and how to kind of navigate the plan. And you know, you can kind of use it at your best discretion. Obviously, want to try to challenge yourself and challenge myself, but I'm going to do the best that I possibly can and utilize this training plan. I like this one more so, I think, than the 20-week. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's 18 weeks instead of the 20 weeks, and you know, I'm just going to go with it. I figured to stick with one plan, set my mind on it, focus on it, and then utilize it. So that's the plan. That's going to be the training plan. So tomorrow officially starts it, Monday. I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to get started and sort of see it through. I have a very difficult time. I don't know where it comes from, but I have a very difficult time sort of seeing things through. A lot of times I start something and then I get sort of unsure of myself, or situationally things come up or whatever. A lot of times I just get in my own way, and I don't finish what I started. And I'm really looking forward to this challenge, not just in a physical sense. It's very emotional. It's a very mental thing. And I think not only just being that it's a marathon, being that it's a marathon and that's challenging in itself. I think the challenge of, I don't have good equipment and I don't have a tripod, and my phone keeps falling. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. Sorry about that. I'm not editing that out. But I think overall, just the whole entire challenge is going to be really great, because I'm really looking forward to finishing what I'm starting and not giving up on myself, giving myself the confidence to push through. Even this whole journey and sharing it is really awkward. I'm sure I have friends and family watching this. If they're watching this going, oh, what is wrong with this girl? Why does she feel the need to share this? I don't know. It's just something I decided I wanted to do. And typically when I get those kind of thoughts and like, oh my God, who's watching this stuff and what are they thinking? I get in my own way. And a lot of times I like to talk myself out of the things that I start, because I'm afraid of judgment, and I'm afraid of like, oh God, what are they going to think? And when they're together, what are they thinking? What are they saying? Even though that's probably not a mindset that I should have, I'm sure everybody feels stuff like that sometimes. And this is really challenging for me. So I think I'm just trying to step out of my comfort zone, which is really hard. And altogether, I don't know if it's because I'm turning 40 in a few months. I don't know if I'm just having like, this might be my midlife crisis. I have no idea. But I'm laughing at myself because you can hear me upstairs, like I'm talking, and my husband's upstairs, and he can probably hear me talking to myself. I think this whole thing is so silly, and I think it's really funny. But again, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm actually like excited to continue to do this. Tomorrow marks 2 weeks since I started my journey and posting and sharing. And normally by this time, if I were to do something like this, I tried to start a blog years ago when I first had my daughter. And I was like, I don't know, writing a bunch of stuff about being a new mom. And looking back on it, it's like not relatable at all, because new moms, it's hard. That's a hard thing to go through, and being a new mom and learning how to navigate motherhood. So looking back on it and thinking about the person I was writing that stuff, it's kind of comical. And I had tried that for a little while. And immediately I got like wicked imposter syndrome, and I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I'm not going to put this out there. Who's going to read this? Who's going to want to read it? It's so embarrassing. And I stopped. I deleted everything. Maybe if I looked deep down in the depths of my laptop, I could find some of the stuff I wrote. But normally by now, I'll talk myself out of everything and be like, this isn't for me. It's silly, it's stupid, it's dumb, and I'm not going to go with it. And I actually, even though I still get some of those thoughts like, oh my God, this is so silly, I'm having fun with it, and I think that that's all that matters, and that's what's continuing to let me like do this and step out of my shell and talk to a camera, to who knows who's listening. If it's just me at the end of the day, then cool, I'll play it back, laugh at myself. Maybe it's my husband upstairs listening to me, I don't know. So far though, I've had a lot of views, so that's cool. So somebody's listening. But anyway, normally by now I'll talk myself out of stuff. I'll start training for something, or loosely training for something, or trying something new, get in my own way, say this is stupid, this is silly, what am I even doing this for? And I'll just stop, and I'll delete every possible thing that had to do with that, so I don't have to think about it and like how silly I look. And I've decided that I don't really care at this point. Like, even though I think I still get those sort of thoughts, I don't really care at the end of the day. Like, I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing it for fun, and I'm having fun doing it. So I don't really, like, those other thoughts, and if they pop up, I'm like, yeah, whatever, and I move on. The same is true with this marathon. I have a feeling that there are going to be days where I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I even doing? This is crazy. But I'm also in the mindset where I'm really excited to do it. I know what I'm doing it for. I do know my why. And the marathon itself, I have a why for why I chose this particular organization, this particular run, why I'm running this, who I'm running this for. I know this stuff, so that helps me, know that I'm gonna push through and continue and cross that finish line, because there is like a deep reason for why I'm doing that. On the flip side, I signed up to do a marathon because it's challenging. I wanted to do a marathon anyway. It so happened that this organization was putting on, or was in part of the marathon that's coming up in November. It just kind of all aligned. It came up in good timing with sort of what was going on in life. And it just all felt right. And I really believe in divine timing, and like when things feel right, I feel like it's meant to be. So the marathon itself, I know that there's a reason for why I'm doing it. I know why I'm doing it, and who I'm doing it for. But on the other side of that, I know that I'm also doing this for myself. It's a challenge that I'm setting out for myself. I'm on this journey for myself, weight loss, getting back into running, finding myself as a person again after having children. I got married in 2017, and my husband and I, we started dating in 2015, and like things just, they went really quickly. We started dating, we got engaged, we got married, we bought our house, we have kids, and within that span of time, so actually this coming Thursday is the 17th, and we are celebrating our 10-year dating anniversary. So that's exciting and cute. And he's the best thing in the entire world, and he's my best friend, and I could go on and on literally about how much I love him. But that's not what I'm doing right now. But I do. I love him with all my heart. He's my best friend in the whole entire world. And in that 10-year time frame, and think about it, like we started dating July 17th, 2015. We're coming on to July 17th, 2025. That's a 10-year span of time, and we've done a lot of stuff. And that's not saying that that's not normal. Like, people do that all the time. There's a lot of stuff that happens in 10 years for a lot of people, so we're not like abnormal. But just thinking on it, 10 years, like I was a totally different person 10 years ago. Very, very different. Still the same Stephanie, but different. I was very lost in life and lost in my mind, and was doing stupid things. And I mean, I guess that's what 20-year-olds do and 20-something-year-olds do, and that's fine. But how much I've grown in 10 years, and also how much stuff has happened in 10 years, and how within that 10 years, I've become all of these things: work from home, mom, homeschooling mom, wife, homemaker, mom, so many things that Stephanie kind of like lost herself for a while. And coming back and finding that, like, I've done a lot of soul searching, especially in this last year. Like, what are the things that resonate to me? What are the things that make me who I am? What are the things that I really enjoy doing? Because at the end of the day, I read something, or I watched a video the other day or something, and it said something along the lines of, in motherhood, I forgot that I'm also a 30-something-year-old woman learning how to live this life at 30-something years old for the first time. And there's truth to that. I get a little thing blowing around here. It's the truth. I'm 39 years old, and sometimes I forget that, like, I matter too, and I have things that I love and I want to do. So I finally feel like I'm back to finding myself again. And I know that sounds so cliche, but like, it's the truth. There's that, finding, getting your pink back. A lot of people talk about stuff like that, like flamingos lose their pink after they have babies, and then eventually once they start feeling better, they, provide for themselves nutrients and what they need, and they get their pink back. And there's truth to that. So I'm finding myself again and finding out the things that after all of this time and after all of these life changes, what still makes me me? What do I like? What are things that make me thrive and energized? And running is truly something that I've always really resonated with. I've always really liked it. I started in 2010 running outdoors, running races, but prior to that I used to do treadmill running and indoor track running at the gym, and I used to be a member of Bally's, and they had an indoor track, and I think every 13 times around equaled a mile, and I would run around it like 70 something times, and it was ridiculous. I'd run on the treadmill, and I have another cousin who used to run races, and her and I, she kind of got me into running races outside and signing up for 5Ks, and they were fun, and that's kind of what got me started in that. So since 2010 I started, and I've really always enjoyed that and liked that. So getting back to it, it feels really exciting and fun, and it's something that mentally, like, I need, emotionally I need. Like, I don't know about other runners, but I'm sure they feel the same way. It's really, really emotional to get on a treadmill or to go outside and to walk. It's great. It's good physically. It's great. I'm very sedentary. I have a work from home office job. Granted, I have a mobile cart and I walk around the house and I, follow the kids around and go where they are to do my work or take calls from different areas. And I've rigged it so it's sit to stand. It's not a sit to stand desk, but I've rigged it so a couple of the bolts are loose and I can just kind of bring it up and down as I want. It's not great because sometimes the keyboard part falls if I hit it the wrong way, but anyway, I probably need a new one. But for the most part, like, I sit down. Like, I'll sit down on my chair, or I'll bring over a different chair and I'll sit on that. So I'm not like walking as much as I used to when I used to work in the city. And I love my job. I love my work from home abilities, and I was blessed with a phenomenal opportunity. So I love it. But it's, I'm not out there doing a lot of physical activity. So having children, I put on weight and I just haven't taken it off. So, getting on the treadmill and walking is great physically. Getting on the treadmill and running is great physically. But there's also like a big mental and emotional part. I cry like all the time. I'm just an emotional person anyway. So, sorry, I'm going to do this more often. I should probably think about how to set this up, but that's okay. It's no big deal. Going with what I got. So I lost my train of thought. I'm an emotional person. I'm very emotional. I cry over everything. I feel things very deeply. So, in running, I'm very emotional. Like, if I hit a milestone, when I'm ready to get to that spot, like when I'm ready to get to that place. So like the other day, I had not run 4 miles consecutively without stopping in years. So when I got there, like right before I was ready to get to that point, I immediately started feeling like super emotional. And I started crying, and that gives me sort of the push to continue, and like it's sort of like an adrenaline thing. And when I was on the phone talking with the representative for the team that I'm going to be running for, and we were talking about like just it was an emotional talk anyway, just because of what it was, and what it's for and who I'm running for. It's very emotional. But then she was talking about just the marathon in general, and how, you know, where I should write my name, so that way when the spectators are watching, they can root for me. And I'm jeez Louise, this is terrible. This is awful. Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm just gonna hold this for now, because that's gonna keep on falling. But anyway, you know, she was talking about spectators and people watching and rooting for you as you're running, and I just immediately started like tearing up and could think about what the race is going to be like, and I know what type of person I am, and so this is going to be a very emotional run. Runs are very emotional for me anyway, so I can only imagine that this marathon's going to be just waterwork city. But anyway, the reason why I started this video is to talk about Hal Higdon and the training program that I'm going to be doing starting tomorrow. So tomorrow, week 1, I will be training for the marathon. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'll probably post a picture, a link. I'm not entirely sure. I still am figuring out how to post links to things. I don't know if they work when I do it on Instagram. It doesn't work when I do it on YouTube, because I'm not like a verified member. I don't have enough views, I guess, or followers or whatever. So I will post pictures, I guess. They'll be somewhere. But if you can't find it through me and you're interested in an 18-week Novice 1 training program for a marathon, Hal Higdon, just go to his website and you can find training plans, and then scroll to the place where it says Novice, and they have all different kinds of levels. So Novice 1 is like beginner, and that's where I'm starting. They have like a Novice 2, which is somebody who maybe is a little bit better of a runner than I am. Probably like an intermediate level and an advanced, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you're interested, you're welcome to go there and find a training plan or follow along with mine. So anyway, yeah, marathon training starts tomorrow. Woohoo!